In this episode, we are making a quick pit stop at Lake Fort Smith State Park in northwest Arkansas before we head to the city of Fort Smith to do things like this, and this. Oh, and this. Buckle up. Okay, so here's the deal. We just spent 3 days exploring one of Arkansas's most iconic state parks, which is Devil's Den State Park in northwest Arkansas, and we stayed at the historic Beard and Lady Inn in Chester, which was amazing. But it's time to move on. All good things must come to an end, and so now we're headed to a new location, which is Lake Fort Smith State Park. Let me help you get a lay of the land here. Here's the shape of Arkansas with Little Rock in the middle. We have traveled west on 40, then north on 49 to get to Lake Fort Smith State Park. It's in northwest Arkansas. It's really not far from Fort Smith, Chester, where we stayed, Devil's Den State Park, and even Fayetteville. If we zoom in a little bit, you can see right here it's on the water. It is also the western terminus of the 240-mile Ozark Highlands Trail. Lake Fort Smith State Park isn't what it seems. See, the park was originally developed in the 1930s, like many of the state parks in Arkansas, except at that time it was just a city park. Back then, WPA workers built pools, cottages, roads, bridges, and more. It was called the Mountainburg Recreational Facility. In 1967, the Arkansas State Parks took over and began upgrading it. Then, in 2002, the park was closed. Lake Fort Smith and Lake Shepherd Springs had to be enlarged to meet the increased water demands in Fort Smith. These two lakes actually create a 1,390-acre reservoir. Because of this, the state park had to be relocated to where it is now. The new facilities include a beautiful visitor center, campground, marina, and cabins. And I'm going to show you a little of that today. This state park is in a picturesque location, but it is important to remember that even though it's on a lake, swimming, water skiing, stand-up paddleboarding, and jet skiing are not allowed on the lake, and that's because it is a reservoir. Here it is, proof that we made it to Lake Fort Smith State Park. Here in the visitor center, they have a replica Pioneer log cabin and a covered wagon. They also have exhibits and programs on the area's early history. According to the Arkansas State Park's website, the park interpreters also lead guests on nature hikes and lake tours year-round. Unfortunately, we won't get to do those things today because we are on a mad dash somewhere else, but I will be coming back. As always, we are getting our state park passports stamped, and I have said this time and time again, but get yourself a state park passport. They're free, and it's fun to collect the stamps. We've made it to Lake Fort Smith State Park, and according to the sign in there, it's a 14,000-acre lake, and we are walking to the overlook right now. We're in a terrible hurry because we have to make it to Fort Smith to check in to our hotel. So this is just an overview, a very brief overview of this state park today. This is the day use area. It's quite impressive actually. It has picnic tables, plenty of parking, a playground, and it's right here by the lake. It's one of the best I've seen. The Ozark Highlands Trail begins here at Lake Fort Smith State Park.
It shows it starts here, which is technically Mountainburg, and connects all the way to the Buffalo National River in the northeast part of the state.
Yep, and it says total distance 253 miles one way. I don't think I'm gonna be doing that one. We are headed to Fort Smith, like I mentioned, and it is going to be a huge 3-day jam-packed time that I'm so excited about. Tonight we'll start with dinner and Tracy Bird concert, and I haven't been to a concert in a very long time, so I'm excited about that. And I like most of Tracy Bird's music, so that'll be a lot of fun. But someday we will return to Lake Fort Smith State Park and we will get the full experience. But it was fun today to just see a little bit of it, and we're gonna drive through the campgrounds to see a little bit more. This state park has a relatively small campground. I mean, it only has 30 campsites. 20 of those are Class AAA, 10 of those are Class B, but I'm really liking the way this is laid out. The pull-throughs are nice if you have a big rig, or if you're like us and your camper's small and it's just nice to pull through. I like the way they're spaced out so you're not overly crowded like some campgrounds. I'm talking to you, Dam Site Campground on Greer's Ferry Lake. This one's really nicely done. This camp area seems to be entirely in the woods. I prefer a lake view, but honestly, being in the woods is nice in the winter because the wind coming off any of our Arkansas lakes can be brutal. The shade is also nice. But looking at their map, it seems like to get to the lake you have to take a small trail. So I really can't tell from this drive-through if any of these sites have a lake view or not. If you've ever camped here, let me know in the comments. Now we are heading down into the area where the boat ramp is. Somewhere around here there's also a swimming pool. I haven't found it yet, but I'm sure I'm just looking in all the wrong places. The marina also has boat rentals, there's a pavilion, picnic sites, group facilities including a dining hall, and 2 group lodges with full-size kitchens. Y'all, these motorcycles seem a little undersized, but what do I know? In the next episode, we are going to be in Fort Smith, Arkansas, doing everything there possibly is to do. We're going to eat it all, see it all, climb it all, and see Tracy Bird. We'll see you there. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe.
Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you around the natural state.